You're probably wondering why I'm using my camcorder right now to do this. Well, one, my batteries probably don't have much life left in my Kodak camera, so I've decided to do something I haven't done in a while, and that's use the camcorder. And seeing as though I got probably about 55 minutes, maybe a little more before my mom gets home from work, I thought I'd try to get this off my chest. You know, um, ever since this whole Genesis thing started in the Sonic the Hedgehog comic books, a lot of people have been questioning exactly um, what's going to occur in the comics. Some people, excuse me for a second, I want to pause this for a minute, gotta check something. All right, sorry about that. I thought my brother-in-law was coming to drop my nephew off. Anyway, like I said, ever since this whole Genesis thing started in Sonic the Hedgehog comic books, a lot of people have had mixed feelings about it, and they've had mixed feelings about the head writer, Ian Flynn. And honestly, I can't blame them for having these mixed feelings. I can't really blame them for this. Because honestly, what Ian's doing in the eyes of many longtime fans is he's putting in danger one of the most popular characters to ever come out of the franchise, whether the character was a game character, a playable game character or not. They feel he's really trending on thin ice with this character. And the character I'm talking about is Sally Acorn. A lot of fans don't like the idea that he may be going in one direction, going in another. And I've said this many times, and I know there's a lot of people out there. I know there's some people at the Sonic Stadium message boards that don't agree with me. I know there's people at the MobiusForums.net that don't agree with me. And, but there are some people like at the Sega forums, Saturday Morning Sonic, and SatayamSonic.com forums, that really don't have a problem with some of the things I say here. And, all I'm trying to do is kind of figure out where a lot of people are coming from. I mean, I understand that there are some people that I've become, I guess you could say, friends with, if you will, here on YouTube, at the Saturday Morning Sonic, at these various Sonic sites and message boards, that all feel that if Ian goes through with what many feel he's going to go through with, then they're just going to leave the comic. They're just going to end the subscription, and that's be done with it, because they don't want to read a comic that I guess in many of their eyes is very, very game based. We had the Sonic X in their eyes, and that was good enough. But a lot of them, they don't just blame Ian for doing this. A lot of them actually blame Sega, most importantly Sega of Japan, for sticking their nose, I guess where they feel it doesn't belong. Because they feel that Ian was being irked on or probably pressured to do something. And I can't really put the blame on Sega of Japan, because even if they did say, hey, can you do something for the anniversary, we can't really say that this is what they wanted him to do. I mean, I'll be honest, yeah, it is kind of ridiculous. You want to, I guess it's, in some fans' eyes, you want to try to off a character at first by blasting him with a torrent gun off screen, and then have somewhat of a bit flashback. And I guess in the eyes of some, it's kind of disappointing that you want to say, oh, by the way, according to the description I put in for 231, the world saved but a terrible cost, you're kind of throwing people off, like, what's the terrible cost? What is the ending at the end of 230 that's going to leave us breathless? That's what a lot of people are wondering. And then what really ticks a lot of people off is you have this silhouette with a question mark on the cover of 231, and a lot of fans look at that and they're like, that better not be who I think it is. Because I even went to the Archie Wikipedia site, Archie Wika Sonic Wikipedia site, and it said in the trivia section at the bottom that the debate's been going on whether the silhouette's Metal Sally, you heard me right, Metal Sally or Robo Sally, or Titan Metal Sonic. Now, we don't know who Titan Metal Sonic looks like, so it's got to be him. Many have even gone out and said it's got to be him. You know, they wouldn't be mentioning him and then have the silhouette. But they don't know. You know, some have come out and said that Titan Metal Sonic's probably a fusion of Sally and Metal Sonic. No one really knows. Some have said that, you know, just like in this flashback of Genesis, Sally's being used to power Titan Metal. I don't know. You know, no one really knows what's going on. A lot of people assume something's going to happen to Sally, but we don't really know that. I mean, yes, the cover of 230, excuse me again, but anyway, like I said, you know, we can't assume that something's going to happen to her at all. I mean, you know, she is basically, if you did a poll question as who do you think's going to be the terrible loss, if you were to do a poll question on that, there's no doubt people would say it's Sally. But I think right behind her would be somebody that, again, nobody wants to see get hurt, but if you look at it from a storyline perspective and a story arc perspective, this character is probably the most likely candidate, and that would be Nicole. And again, like anybody else, I don't want to see anything happen to the character, but still, it's you know, she's a top candidate, and you know, the same goes for any character. And again, like I said, we don't know what the terrible cost is. You know, some fans have even come on to various YouTube videos about this, mine and others out there, and they have said, look, you know, just because the description says this doesn't mean the cover that we see even equals that, because covers are deceiving. You know, I've come out and said that you take a look at during the Iron Dominion saga, the issue where it said Bunny gone bad, and you have Bunny's foot on top of Sonic getting ready to blast him. Everybody back then thought, oh, you know, everybody back then was thinking, oh, please, don't let Bunny go bad. Don't let this happen. Don't let that happen. And again, the cover just deceived. It's all about, all it is, basically, folks, is getting people to talk. You know, I said this recently in a response video to two of my subscribers who were, you know, basically bickering, if not commenting, after each other, and those two subscribers were Jonathan83X and the Ezekiel 300, and both of them were bickering back and forth, saying, oh, not bickering, but kind of arguing or whatever you want to call it, back and forth, oh, this and that and this and that. And to me, I had to tell them this, and I even did a video on it a few weeks ago where I compared Ian Flynn to the wrestling head writer Vince Russo, and what Vince Russo is doing right now in TNA, and that's basically making stories for shock value. You know, and you know, a lot of what I said, and some have agreed with this, you know, makes some sense, because Ian Flynn's doing some things at a shock value than just waiting on occasions. You know, I even said that if you take a look at the CM Punk storyline right now in WWE, he had a contract signing a week ago on SmackDown for his match at Night of Champions against Triple H. And CM Punk said the one thing that obviously, when I heard this, I thought, well, this obviously sounds like, you know, Ian Flynn maybe in some ways, and maybe some of the fans, and maybe what some of the fans want. And because what Punk said is he wants everybody to enjoy WWE. He doesn't just want a majority to like it. He wants everybody to like it. He wants everybody to have fun with it. And to me, I thought, well, that kind of sounds like what Ian Flynn's trying to do, and maybe what some of the fans want as well. But you also got a majority of fans that want it one way and a majority of fans that want another. And when Triple H heard this, he basically countered, well, before CM Punk said this, Triple H said something like, well,